Good afternoon, everybody. We are getting started with our new orders from the Holy Phoenix. Now, I'm not going to lie, this morning I was certainly caught off guard and a little confused. I wasn't sure really how to take his orders, but I think that we would interpret them as he doesn't want to ask any more of us, even though he knows we can do more. He doesn't want to push us and put us in greater peril and thinks we've already done enough. But he also told us to spread Okran's light throughout the land. So we took that as we need to grow the holy nation and its army in strength, as well as continue to take more land. Now, right now, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we recruit enough to completely fill up our 256 squad limit. Whether or not the game can handle it, who knows, but we'll see. If we're able to actually put that many people together, we'll have close to 150 fighting people. Well, they'll all be fighting men since it's the Holy Nation. And we'll go take over everything. Everything that doesn't belong to the Holy Nation will fall. We'll destroy the tech hunters, the UC, the swampers, the robots, everything you can imagine, all with one force. The way we're doing that right now, we're going to basically go around the border zone and any lands nearby and take down dust bandits. That's because they already start out with at least some combat skills. If you look at these guys that are very creatively and intelligently named, they've got 14s and 13s in melee attack and defense. That's pretty close to the best you can get off of a training dummy anyway. And while I probably would enjoy having rows on rows of beak things to fight, it's kind of a pain in the butt to set up. You can't leave the base or they despawn. So I'm going to focus on just picking up recruits that, one, are almost certainly male. I have noticed that for whatever reason the dust bandits are almost... I haven't seen a female dust bandit. Not one time. That I can recall. So that kind of cuts the chances we're going to get someone we can't use down dramatically. We also can't use Shek. I don't think I've seen any hivers. But most of the dust bandits are human. So we're able to... And I've seen this misconception a lot. The Holy Nation don't have any problem with Scorchlanders. It's just that they're not as common here locally. Like Greenlanders lived here in the country of the Holy Nation first. Anyone who comes here as a Scorchlander would be just an immigrant, so like from somewhere else basically. And they're perfectly welcome as long as you're human. And if you're a female, there's just a ton of extra rules for you. You know, you basically can't go anywhere alone. But we've already conquered so much turf that this is the kind of army that wanders around out here in Skinner's Rome. That's a Holy Nation platoon darn near. And they're just patrolling around, making sure there's no trouble here. But we know sometimes they miss the different bandit hideouts, and what we're doing is we've got a mod that lets us use and craft up to Edge 3 and even May 2 when it quote-unquote crits, when you have that critical success. So our weapons are extremely good for everyone, not just that one lucky person. And our armor is a mod that gives the Holy Nation at least some dust storms and acid and burning protection, as well as actually having armor for every piece of their body. I know people like sandals a lot, but I have noticed my guys limping a lot less when I make sure they actually have some boots. Did everyone put all their food away? Yikes. Almost everyone put almost all their food away. but we're just looking for big bandit camps. And since our weapons are so good, one of the other problems we ran into was we were just chopping limbs off left and right. And in the Holy Nation, that means your fighting days are over. So we went and crafted these Katoon 1 mercenary clubs. We just built an old bench and crafted those up. So these are going to do way less damage. But against Dust Bandits, we don't need extremely good weapons, especially with the kind of characters we have. So this will minimize the damage we do, while still allowing us to take out the Dust Bandits. So we'll be able to capture them rather than cut them apart. Like, see the 50s here, and because it's blunt damage, they're more likely to recover and recover faster. So the whole process will just be faster and better. We didn't get lucky here. There weren't any Dust Bandits out here, so we're gonna go. We've also made a large quantity of money just by having our armor smith make bandanas. So we should, theoretically, unless we need to do more crafting, which is possible, we should have all the money we need to buy the food we need, the backpacks, things like that for all of our new recruits. I just don't know if we actually have. I know we don't have enough weapons for 100 more people. But it's going to take time to recruit that many and train them. Right now we're doing it at about 22 at a time. So the main goal is to get more and more people scooped up. And the way we're going to... Oh, come on, Phil. The way we're going to do that is just send out the Church Inquisitor group. There's 22 people in this squad. We'll bring them back. We'll stick them in the strength training squad and get them going. As you can see, our first guy we put in there the earliest, he's up well over 70. Some of the guys that came in as stragglers, guys, come on. Some of the guys that came in as stragglers, though, they're ending up, they're going to hit 70 and will stop. So some of them are going to be stronger than the others, but it's not a detriment, and it's not the end of the world if not all of them are up in the 80s. So we just dropped by here to grab enough food to make sure everybody's good to go. There's plenty of food back home, and some people are carrying. It looks like one guy's carrying some, but it's just a hassle to carry all of those vegetables. That kind of food is best suited for keeping it at home and eating it at home. I'm probably going to download a mod that'll let me make these ration packs, but the Holy Nation wouldn't be doing that. So it won't be something I use for this playthrough, but it'll be something I get around to eventually. It did kind of hit me all of a sudden, that inspiration of, oh, well, if we need to spread Okran's light, we need to rehabilitate all of these bandits and villains in our lands and take back the streets and the roads and the paths and make it safe again, while also making the Holy Nation the strongest force in the world. Once we have that extremely strong military force, we're then just going to march across the map, devastating our enemies, looting their food, and moving on until we've conquered the world. It's going to be interesting taking on a force like the Crab Raiders. I've never tried to eliminate them as a force, so that'll be interesting too. But this will give you an idea of what the combat's going to look like with our new weapons. It's still us just brutalizing them and not really having any trouble taking them down. Oh, wow, we're still taking limbs off. Goodness. Well, you can only do so much. We may have to make even worse weapons. Pick him up. Pick him up. And basically, we're just going to make sure that everyone has picked someone up. And that's why we kept the squad at 22. We don't need a force stronger than that anyway. Oh, we don't need that one. So we're still going to run into the problem where some of the dust bandits are Shek, but we can basically just filter through them. And while we did still end up taking the limb off of one of them, that does seem to be at least rarer now that we're using these weapons. We were having like multiple bandits losing limbs like every single fight. Just want to make sure everybody's getting medicked. Yep. Looks good. Alright, who's the last one to pick one up? Saul? Yep, so Nash, you're up next. Nash is the one that needs to start picking up more people. I wonder if there's more Dusty Boys over by the Dust King's old tower. Drill, how'd you get separated, man? This is why I do that creating a box thing. It lets you highlight people, but it also lets you double check at a glance, especially when you don't go over like 22 people. It lets you at a glance see if you've actually got everyone with you or not. Somehow the Dust King is back, or maybe we never took him out. Well, now's a good time to change that. I could have sworn we did this already. Guys, open the door. Now here's where we can use a little bit of deviousness. We can do the right thing through complicated means. If we leave the Dust Bandit here, alive and well, apparently if we put him in jail too, but if we leave him here alive and well, he'll keep recruiting more of these bandits to him, and we'll have a guaranteed spot to come pick up the bandits we need. Which will make this a much simpler and easier process. Oh, see, we're still knocking limbs off every now and then. Well, we're still short one guy, but we didn't go inside, so that's probably all that is. We could also take the Dust King, bring him with us. That is an option. But I think it makes more sense to come here, take his bandits, and use him as a useful idiot. No, we got what we came for. We don't need to keep pounding on him. So what they're doing right now is they're kind of scooting around, making sure all of these bandits are patched up, which is what we want them to do. By the time we get back with these guys, the old strength team should be pretty close to done training. And we can just ignore anybody that's in our way. We've got our prisoners already. We'll come back to clean them up some other time. Can only do so much in one day. Yeah, if they insist, I guess. See, the other great thing about this particular force is they're so strong and gifted that they're just not going to have any trouble. The very best of them can take on some of the strongest enemies in the game. The very worst of us can handle probably most of those dust bandits alone. But this is how we plan on expanding the army, roughly 22 guys at a time. And I think with our new weapons, we should see the whole process take a lot less time. As you see, a lot of these guys are just getting right back up, too. So like I said before, the people we're taking out with these weapons are less likely to sustain as severe of injuries. I mean, we were hacking off limbs and just outright killing so many of the dust bandits we were fighting. Guys, it's a bridge. You can do it. Come on. Looks like we'll have plenty of raptors to pick up too. We need 9 raptors. So we have made some changes to the base. I did realize that I needed nowhere near the amount of wind turbines we had. Because we're such a low science base, we just don't need that much power. And the wind never stops blowing, so I never had to build battery banks, which was cool. And I didn't realize that. So you never need electrical components to build a base in a Holy Nation area. If you pick a spot that's good like this one that has wind all day, all night, never stops. and I was able to get rid of a lot of the wind turbines, but I also got rid of this little like mini processing area. I moved all the armor and weapons and things over here. This is where I can still smith up anything I might need. Chain armor, weaponsmith, and if I need to make an armor smith, I can make another building right next to it that'll have the same stuff. We have containers for most of the metal, but we burn through the steel bars really fast. We do have armor plating if we need it, but this is how we're going to expand. The main reason though that I really tried to get this area more open is this massive strength training squad. So they're all carrying some kind of animal. Our animals aren't being harmed. They're just helping out, fill in where we couldn't find raptors. And then they're just following this guy who's mining one piece of iron and then hauling it. And we moved the hauling zone over here because they were getting trapped in the barracks here. We did build even more barracks, and we're going to need even more. But I'm going to have to try and get these guys to go away. They're just always here. Like, I might have to let an enemy loose over here just to get them to cluster enough that they'll get out of the way so I can keep building. I need to keep building more barracks. Each of these houses 10 people. So if you think, we're going to have 150 fighting people, we need like 15 of these. We're not going to go that crazy. They don't need to all sleep. We're not going to do it like my last playthrough where everyone had their own home or even their own barracks bed, because it would just be so much. And I don't know, maybe I will, but I don't see that being necessary. If you think about it, 256, that'd be 26 of those things. That's a lot of those buildings, and while I think we may have the room for that, it just seems wildly unnecessary, and it will interrupt this path right here. And I think we're the Holy Nation is like a bunch of woman and robot hating chuds anyway, so they're gonna like, we're role playing as them, we're doing the paladin thing, but at the end of the day, they don't like science, robots, or girls, so that's pretty lame in my book. Like they'll just. I had a shop guard, just start screaming for the guards to come get this vile woman out of my shop because I lingered there too long. Like, not after his shop hours, not anything like that. I was just in there too long, and he was the only one in there. I was apparently seducing him. It was crazy. So we could have, but I think that because they're chuds like that, they would make the guys, wash in the river to get clean and then go sleep in the same bed as some other dude slept in like an hour ago, and rotate in and out. You gotta head cannon it a little bit. These guys are weirdos. We brought basically everyone from the cities here. This does cut off our ability to craft with a constant, supply source. We actually can't make steel. Huh? Oh, looks like we've got some shekis. Let's see what happens here. You're way more than outnumbered. Like, outnumbered doesn't even begin to describe what's about to happen to you. So I don't think this is like an actual attack on us. This is just some random Shek that saw a town that's hostile to them. But we have 41 gate guards. We're going to have 50 once we get a few more people through the strength camp. That's one of the first things we're doing, is running them into more turrets. Oh, we're missing a few, but we had 41 turret guards. We're going to have 50. They're going to struggle to even get to the first gate. And then they run into even more gate guards. And let's say I want to really screw with them. I can open that gate so they don't damage it. Oh, he's dead. She's dead already. But you can open the front gate and close the back gate temporarily so that they run in, get funneled into even more crossbowmen, and just get shredded. But yeah, attacking our base is not smart. It does not go well for them. But let's get back to putting these guys in cages. We'll get them their conversion therapy. And I have a feeling that we're going to need to start making weapons and armor again before too long. So I may have jumped the gun on moving our crafters out here. I just didn't like having to keep checking on their food, checking on if they've got stuff. I had kind of planned on... Ooh, we actually have a lot of guys out here. Hey, dust bandits. That's cute. Apparently they had demands. Did someone take your crossbow? Your What crossbow are you supposed to be guarding? And why are so many missing? We've got 3 unmanned crossbows. I've pulled more people off of here than I thought, I think. But either way, we'll get them up to 50. That is a little weird, though. I thought we had all of these manned. We might have to cut out or not use some of the extra ones we had put in. Or maybe we'll get rid of this whole idea, you know? It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Ooh. What are you guys doing? Are you guys... You guys are inquisitors. No, you go back. So this is the whole point behind the 2-gate system. This guy just squeaked through because he gets mashed through by his buddies. So you almost need 2 gates just to avoid that problem, or you need some way to slow them down severely. And even slowing them down doesn't work that great. The best thing I've found is this weird janky 2-gate system. But I did come up with a new gate system that I think will work great. I'll probably use in a different location. Or if I were to reuse this location again, I would put the gate over here away from this bridge, because this bridge forced me to build it weird and jacked up. But I do think we could get rid of these guys. They work great for as the guys squeak through. All of these guys are probably going to hit, like successfully hit. Oh, he was... I wonder if he was... No? Why can't you turret guard? Why won't you turret guard? Hmm. Might have some messed up stuff. Fix stuff. So this is a pathing issue I'm gonna have to save and reload. Sometimes you run into these issues where it just doesn't. They're having an issue following the path. So we're gonna actually open the gate, save and reload, and that should fix all of the pathing to all of our turrets. One of these playthroughs I'm gonna really focus on just building a powerful base, and that's the only goal. Just an extremely good base that has the best food making, the best defensive technology, the best weapons crafting, just crazy industry. Have like 2 or 3 crafters, like one crafter that does nothing but helmets, one that does nothing but chest plates, one that does one of each armor type, and then just enough industry to outpace them by far. So the reason I leave the gates open is sometimes the positioning is goofy. Like here, Dynamo was like in the water. Let's get these Church Inquisitors out of there. I know we're kind of getting interrupted over and over with random stuff. We're supposed to be putting prisoners in their cages. Let's double check that everybody's not somewhere weird. Brecht, you shouldn't be on medic. You should not be on medic. So that fixed the pathing, you can see now. So Arc is still gonna be messed up then, I think. Nope, he's good. Looks like everybody's got a turret. Brick, are you good? So the other thing I've noticed is that having 2 gates, it's actually pretty common to have them just not even be able to path over here and figure it out, which I'm kind of okay with. I don't really care about the visitors, but because of the way the gates are laid out, this is technically like the inside, so when this one's closed, they don't know what to do. Like, they don't know what to think or how to path because they think they're already trapped in our base. And we just don't care about the beast traders. We're not that worried about it. I'm not going to fill up 9 slots or whatever, however many more slots with animals just to have something to carry. We're actually going to go hunt raptors. But now that we've got our turret situation figured out, we can get back to business, imprisoning these guys and filling our ranks. So we got through the first 11, it looks like. So ugly, you go ahead and put yours in, and so forth. So if you guys are just kind of catching up, we've basically expanded the base, put more people on turrets. We reduced the power because we're holy nation, so we're very low science. So, did somebody break our gate? Yeah, they broke the gate. That's interesting. Oh, we're gonna close that. Oh, okay. I guess one of their guys got in. And now they're breaking our gate. These stupid animal traders. But we're basically have it set up to where our food is all processed over here, and it's way overkill. There's 10, 15 food barrels in here, one in each of the barracks. There's a bunch up here, and they stay overflowing. There's just so much food. We've got room to train people if we ever need to. We've got an entire strength training program over here. People hauling iron back and forth to this iron over here. And the way you set up their jobs is you just set it up to where he's mining, but you put hauling to the storage above that, and he'll just mine one piece of iron. Everybody else is set to follow him. They've all got enough in their backpack to stay at 75% encumbrance forever. It's usually more than that. And then they're also all carrying an animal. Some of them are our animals just to make it easier. Some of them are raptors we went and hunted down. It looks like the nomads made the paladins mad, and that's another problem with making a base this big and not keeping the gate fully closed all the time. These paladins showed up. Some of them showed up kind of like mercenaries would, defending me as an ally when the Shek would raid, but they don't ever leave. It's kind of like when you pay mercenaries to come guard your base. Sometimes they just stay. And this might be my opportunity to build? No, there's all these ones over here still patrolling. But I basically have a whole bunch of paladins just patrolling my base, which we're actually sided with the Holy Nation, so that's not a big deal. That's not a problem at all. Zill, you cannot be on engineering. I'm going to have to check all of the civilian quote-unquote people. Okay, Phil, you put him in. We don't want the Dust Bandits starving because we held on to them too long, getting distracted. So we want this outer gate closed. Nobody in or out. I don't know what you guys did to tick off the paladins, but you need to leave. Oh boy. But because we beat these guys down with the weapons that we did, they're already ready to recruit. They're awake. They're ready to be recruited. So you pick join me first. We got to talk about that face. We got to name these guys. Sometimes I just give them normal-ish names. Sometimes I give them just ridiculous names. It really just depends. Why not? So the mod I use isn't the recruit prisoners mod, it's the recruit anyone mod. It gives you the most freedom with recruits, and then if you want to limit, like, oh, I don't want to recruit super strong people, you just don't. And you don't have to go through these annoying chat windows trying to figure out the right thing to say. If you want to do that and roleplay it, that's fine. When I'm on my 130th person, I couldn't give a crap less what they want me to say. Just join the squad. Talk to. Let's see. We're just doing whatever pops into my head. Just any name to get these guys named and move on. I don't want to leave them named Dust Bandit and Dust Bowman. And we're not worried about matching original skin color to the names here. We're just picking names, okay? We're just picking names. And then some of them we can give like very Kenshi names. Like we can name this guy Boss Pockets. So I have done, every time I hire a dust boss, I named them something like Boss Tom because there's a place that used to serve a sandwich by that name out here. So this guy's Boss Pockets. Let's see. Literally, if you think of any names, throw them out because I'm struggling here. I need to create a list of names to run through. Hmm. I guess we'll just do some weird Kenshi style names. Man, I'm not gonna name him something I might spell wrong. That'd be terrible. Nick? I don't think I have a Nick. We could do Nick. Let's see. I don't think I have a Cletus. If I do, I'm gonna have two guys named Cletus. What could you be? I'll name you McDouble. There's people in this world in Kenshi just naturally named Double, so McDouble will be great. His Scottish ancestor. Name this guy Potato. This guy can be Rice. Now we're just naming them after foods. Grape. Pizza. I'm not hungry. That's not what's happening here. It's fine. It's fine. Steak. We're gonna name this last poor bastard. We're gonna name him Onions. We're gonna name him Onions. That's awful. So, one of the weird downsides with this is I don't know if this is all recruitment mods where you recruit enemies, but anytime you use this mod to recruit people, you'll run into your own turret guys shooting at them. And you'll run into issues where they won't eat. So you have to save, and this is why I really like to recruit in large numbers once I'm able to. And you have to reload. Which is obnoxious with everything that goes into the gate and all of that stuff, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Oh. It looks like some of these guys, when we reload, they're waking back up. That's funny. But we'll just make sure all the turret gunners come out here. Get them away from the walls so they're not stuck in them. Close the front gate. I like having them go full speed because then when the guys that get into the water, they don't all slow down. And now these guys are our recruits and they won't have any more issues. They'll eat when they're hungry, they'll rest when they're tired. They'll make loud clanging bell noises to celebrate getting set free. And we've got a bunch of different barracks to be able to let them go rest up and heal. And then once they're done, they can get food, and we can get them set up on the strength training. Alright. Our strength training guys are coming along nicely. No comment on this guy's name. I meant the bird. And just forgot I was on the internet, I guess. So our first guy, we put him into the strength training program earlier, but we just waited until everyone was done. This time I actually came, I developed the plan as we went, and now that we have a full process here, everybody will roughly get pulled at 70 strength. But we've got the last guy up to 70 strength, which is the goal. Now we can turn these guys' jobs off, come back over here. And what we're going to do is go to this spot over here, and we'll control them, micromanage them a little bit. I have a place to dump off all of those heavy backpacks. It's just a full trader's backpack of iron. It'll keep you at 75% or more encumbrance, pretty much as high as you feel like training your strength. And you don't have to weigh yourself down any more than that. So we'll put them on hold. Tell them to come in here. And all we're trying to do is get them to all dump off their backpacks at once to keep it simple. And once we ditch all these backpacks off of these guys, they're ready to go. They're not going to be nearly as powerful as our most experienced guys. We've recruited some enemies from the United Cities that were like gate guards. They're very tough, but they're going to be at least strong enough to use their weapons properly. That's the main thing. They're strong enough now to swing their weapons at the right speed. Is he gonna go? And now we gotta manually, the only thing that's annoying is getting rid of this staying close job. And now these guys are fully strength trained up. They did it automatically while I was doing other stuff. That's the main thing I think people miss out on in this game, is you can automate almost anything without mods. No mods involved in this strength training program. Even if you wanted to do toughness, you can build a small cage by using defensive walls inside your base, put a good solid gate on it, and then just put people with no weapons in the cage. Put one of your guys in a sleeping bag on the ground, and they'll just beat the crap out of him. And if his toughness is at a certain point already, he'll just never die, and his toughness will go through the roof. There's a million ways to automate almost anything, and you can spend your time going and doing fun stuff like beating up bandits to bring them back for their very friendly conversion therapy that isn't creepy at all. Our squads are getting pretty thick, but at least we don't have as many squads as we did before. We had way more squads before I just started combining them, and that's helped a lot. So we're going to add these guys to the strength training squad. They're going to ditch all of their stuff. And then I think I'm going to have to add one more squad, sadly, because I want to keep the Inquisitors as a squad of 22 because that just works out great for recruiting. It lets you have a full page of people, but you don't go past that. Once you have a third row, it cuts off and you can't see them. And it's just less convenient for scooping people up and getting them ready for conversion and training. Now we've got to drop these animals. Half of them might just fall through the ground. Plow, what are you doing? I guess some of them already dropped their animals. They may have despawned. Yeah, it looks like some of them carrying raptors had them despawn. That's not the end of the world, though. It's just a lot faster if you have something over your shoulder. But honestly, I think we could just do away with that whole plan. Because everything but one raptor just disappeared. So now I'd have to go collect 22 raptors. I think we're just going to use the backpacks and call it a day. It's not going to be as fast, but we've got a lot of other stuff we can do. We're going to have a very strong force very quickly. So we're just going to take... Let's see how many crossbows we have left open. Put the first 4... No, hold on. So put you there. You do have to take anybody you're going to put on turret guard. They can't be on passive, and they can't be on hold. If they're on hold, they might end up just sitting around doing nothing. If they're on passive, they will not go get on the turret. Alright, so now we've got those filled out. We should have a few more turrets that need to be filled out on the edges. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're just going to take these guys from the strength training that we moved, put them into turret gunners. 2, 3, 4. And we have room for 9 more, and we have 9 more crossbows, so that's perfect. Two, 3, 4. I just want to make sure they can actually get to all of these, because I'm not sure they can. I think that ramp might be too janky. Yeah, I was afraid of that. They're not going. Well, that stinks. We're going to have to take those 2 off. We don't have any spots there. Let's try fixing the wall. You know, if I... Oh, I played myself. Okay. This is going to be interesting, trying to fix the wall. Okay. Walls, defensive wall. Why is it being so iffy and dodgy? Just doesn't want to connect there. Maybe if we start there. There we go. And And then where can I attach a ramp if it's styled like that? That might actually fix it. That might actually fix the problem. Aha, I busted you. I knew I'd have somebody on engineering that shouldn't be. We'll go ahead and set them back to doing their jobs. This will get the wall built quickly. We don't need anybody sneaking past us. Okay. Strength training. We need to... Oh, now we need to build the rest of the turrets. So, defense turrets. And the whole reason we're looking at doing this is just to have some turrets on the sides. I've had enemies get kind of hooked on the edges and keep all of our crossbowmen in combat, and then they almost starve to death. The only way to fix that is to have like crossbowmen almost all the way around your base. Let's set him to turret guard here. We want medic as well. Oh yeah, you guys have to come off of hold, off of passive. Alright, excellent. So sometimes you have to make little adjustments to the base. The walls are a little janky. Building next to these dang bridges was a mistake. I should have put the gate literally anywhere else. And maybe that's a thing I'll do. But I can't build like over here or up here. It becomes part of the Holy Nation's actual property. But if I were to move the gate over here, like maybe I'll relocate these storage boxes and just do the gate over here, I could have a much better setup. And I could also try out my new idea for a dual gate. I got told to check Discord. What's going on here? Somebody is wrecking my gate. Those guys really wanted to get out, huh? Alright, let's get these guys off of engineering. We shouldn't need to do that anymore. There's always, when you're at a base, that's the only problem, is there's always something going wrong. So what happened today is that we finished off the Shek. We finally got the game to stop bugging. It was really bugging last stream. We got, not only did we finish off the Shek, but we got the game to recognize that we finished them off. And now the Phoenix is like, yeah, there's nothing left for you to do. Just spread the love of Okran across our lands. So we're like, okay, well, what the heck does that mean? What are we supposed to do? So I had to kind of figure out where to go from there. Now the plan is just make a giant army and make all of Kenshi Holy Nation lands. So that's the plan. We're going to completely fill out our squad and just go nuts, taking over the entire world, because we've got really strong characters to lead the way, and we've got amazing weapons, great armor. It's going to be a good way to... This will be a good playthrough to do it. You can't conquer the world with a handful of people very easily. Boy, it would be nice if these guys would go away. Did his leg just stop working? Dustin, help him out just so he'll go away. Patch him up. He did something that really ticked off. It's a crime to heal him? Oh, he's committing a crime. So the paladins that just hang out in my base probably saw him wrecking my door trying to leave. And we're like, yeah, that's a crime. We're going to beat the tar out of you. But anyway, we like to keep the front gate closed, not the back gate. This is the magical gate that seems to force everyone to stay out. Maybe now we can get back to switching out our strength training. Maybe. Please. Alright, so those 4 are set up. Let's see if we need to make any adjustments over here. Let's go ahead and put medic first right off the bat. And then forget to do it with the very next guy. But I'm really happy to add these crossbowmen because they are going to keep us from getting stuck in combat, I think. I think this is going to keep us from just getting wrecked and having our guys starve to death. Alright, we have crossbow guys all around the front of our base. Perfect. And then costly is the last guy we need to move, so we can remember that. So this guy, I have a preset, and you can import presets for guys that will basically change what they look like, how they're built. I have like a huge, ridiculous, giant, like Space Marine precon for them. So I made this guy absolutely ginormous just because. So we've got one guy who's just massive. Oh, we left the front gate open. Whoops. Is the front gate open or destroyed? It's destroyed. I want you on engineering. Looks like all of the gates got wrecked. Now the rest of these guys, we need to make another squad. So the gunners are filled. So we can move that squad all the way to the bottom. We're not going to be looking at them anytime soon. They're just the gunners forever. Okran soul, these are like our crafting people. They're pretty much filled out. I don't want to take that all the way to 50. I'd rather leave ourselves some room to wiggle with our fighting forces. So now we need like a second squad. So first squad will be our Inquisitor squad. Oh, I knew it. Oh, anytime I spend too long in the squad window, the game freezes. I'm gonna have to save and reload. It just crashed. That's rough. Having this many people, the game really struggles with it. I've never had this many crashes, though. I'm gonna take a look at my mod list and see if there's anything that's making it worse. Luckily, my computer runs this game great, so we shouldn't have any trouble getting restarted really quickly. It also tends to, if it does crash, it crashes on an autosave. I think what's happening is I'm in the menu there to change around the squad, and that's when it autosaves, and the combination of those two things is making it crash, I think. Well, the last autosave was 5 minutes ago. Let's see how bad the damage is. Whoa, what is going on here? Okay, let's get all the gates open. The turret gunners, looks like we did not move them yet. Okay. Get the front gate closed. So now all we have to do is save, just to be sure. And then try very carefully to move our squad members again. Alright, we got them moved. We're going to save a little extra here and there just to make sure. I didn't mean to load again, that's awful. But managing a base in this game can be a little difficult. It really can. But now we've got our 50 squad of turret gunners. We made squad 2. We just gotta keep the game from freezing while we move them over. That's all we gotta do. Just stay calm, game. You can do this. Oh, jeez. More Discord. Okay. And it broke. No, 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 no. No, maybe my mouse. My mouse broke. Okay. I think half the trouble I'm having is my mouse freaking out. I wonder if it's the battery or if it's just dying on me. I wonder if that's been the whole problem today. That's gonna be really sad if I just thought the game froze, but it was just my mouse being stupid. Well, no, the last one was a real freeze. It popped up. Huh. Okay. So now we've emptied our strength training squad. We have squad 2. They're fully equipped. The only thing they don't have on them is food. Strength training is exactly 22 dudes. So now all we have to do is come over here to the item furnace and just ditch all the extra junk. If you're curious what the heck that orange meat is, That is from a cannibalism mod I have. It basically lets you not only have cannibalism as part of the game, but it gives you a way to execute people. So you don't have to just leave your enemies lying on the ground ready to threaten you again right after defeating a really tough enemy. But this item furnace lets us just ditch all of their gear that they had before. And we get iron out of it, which doesn't really do much. But when we were setting up, it helped us fill those backpacks with iron. It wasn't enough on its own by far, but it was a little bit of extra help. You're also going to see a string of cats on pretty much every dust bandit. This mod gives loot to bandits, so it makes their teeth actually be worth something, and everyone has teeth on them, even hungry bandits. And then, well, I should say, even hungry bandits have something on them, which is teeth. Dust bandits have it. And you can take much more valuable loot from different characters you beat. Like, you can find ancient science books on United Cities gate guards, things like that. Everybody's basically got good loot. You get something from defeating everyone, so that it's not just a bunch of like clunky big gear you have to try and carry around and then sell. Now, the big sad moment is going to be when we go in here to equip everyone and we don't have enough weapons. But luckily, that sad moment might be a ways off. And you'll notice some of them are made to. We're not going to really stress about who gets what. We did at the start, like we took our very best guys and made sure they got made to weapons, but now we're just kind of over it. Whoever gets lucky, they get lucky. Because it's so rare that waiting for a made to for everyone would take forever. And we're not able to make steel. Once I realized that, I knew we were not going to make made to for everyone, because I am not just sitting there with people in town forever. It's obnoxious trying to keep them fed. It's obnoxious trying to keep them safe. They constantly try to get into trouble, it seems like. All of that good stuff. So what we're doing now is just making sure everybody has a med kit. And we aren't going to have enough splint kits, but that's okay. And then a full set of armor and weapons. Ideally, we would make sure everyone got a splint kit, but I just didn't realize we were low on them. So that'll give us something to do while we're waiting for these guys to get their strength training done. I'm also kind of tempted to send Squad 2 out to go get their own newest replacements, but we'll see. Because I could send them and have them go hunt down guys just to get more combat experience. But we've already crafted so much armor and weapons that it'll be a while before we fully run out. And if I have to, I can go around buying a ton of steel. It's just so expensive. So hopefully I've got enough armor and all I'll need to make is weapons. But I can already tell I'm probably going to need to make more weapons. Whereas armor, I probably have enough. Oh, I didn't finish ditching your stuff, Samito. No, don't dismantle it. Just come use it. You know what? This will be faster if I just don't do it this way. Hold on. That is way faster. And you will notice there's some things in this game that'll end up being a little more on the tedious side for gearing everyone up. It really just depends on how you want to play. You don't have to build a giant army. We beat the whole game in our last playthrough with 30 people. And they weren't anywhere near like maxed out stats, not even close. I was surprised at how easy it was to get through the game. It really was. With 30 people and some armor, and no mods, so just the base, the best weapons we could get, used crossbows because they're fun, heavy armor. We took down everything in the game. Some of it was close, some of it was rough, but we tried to take it on way earlier than we needed to. Certainly way before we were ready. And that's where a lot of the difficulty ended up coming from. Is just we went for stuff very early. We actually paid for it pretty horribly. We lost everyone but 2 people from our squad going after the Bugmaster way too early with way too crappy gear and even worse stats. Oh goodness, I missed some boots. But we learned from that, and then the next time we went out, we were better prepared, and we did make sure our people got some combat experience before we threw them into anything super dangerous. Alright, those are fully equipped characters. And we'll just have to get them some splint kits at some point. It does look like medical supplies or something we're going to have to put some time into. We do not even have a full batch of recruits worth of weapons left. We probably do have enough armor, though. Well, no, we do not. We do not. So, we're already realizing that maybe pulling our crafters was a terrible idea. But We have a ton of helmets, a silly amount of boots. We could get away with just crafting leg plates and chest armor. Especially chest armor. But I don't think we're going to want to... We're not going to want to do that here. It costs so much money. Who's trying to beat down? See, sometimes our own allies get stuck in here and they try to leave. We gotta like open the door for them. But we do have 20 new recruits able to swing their weapons, high strength. They need dexterity before they're gonna do a ton of damage. And then we've got 20 more recruits getting ready to go get 22 more recruits getting ready to go get strong. So squad 2 is actually smaller than 22. I don't know what I was saying, but we filled out our turret guys. Oh, holy cow, you got left inside. You gotta get out of there, man. But we'll get these guys strength training, and that'll be a great place to wrap up. We're gonna see how well it goes doing the training without bothering to have someone on our back. I don't think it's gonna make enough difference to hate it, and we've got a lot of stuff to do before we recruit more people. That's kind of the way I look at it. I have learned to really be careful about how you stack everything in here. Make sure they have room to pick up food. If their items are stacked just so, and they're just a little bit incorrect, and they can't pick up food, it's a huge problem. They'll try and starve to death on you like they're on the turrets or something. We'll have them following Trent. Trent, we'll have you haul to this one, and then mine that. And then we have one of our recruits, Fish. We kind of have her just around to do some cleanup. She's got the right backpack to grab this stuff. And then we can just set her to jobs and she'll put it away. But now what you'll see is he'll be hauling, and he'll mostly just stick to grabbing food outside. But you can see now his strength's at 17. You can watch it go up pretty fast. Like, considering this is something that's just automatic. I can leave these guys alone. They'll eat. They'll stay alive. Because we're doing this in our base, they're going to be fine. Wait, you guys are turret gunners with no job. Oh, we didn't actually assign everyone. Okay. This is what happens when you have to save and reload. Things get a little mixed up. Luckily, that wall fix stuck. So we'll just start with costly and work our way back. We did have our people who are mining copper for pretty much forever. We did have them go ahead and join our strength training and turret force. They didn't really have a purpose here. Once I realized we couldn't make steel, and maybe that's where I'm messing up. You know, we got permission from the Phoenix, or at least that's how we're headcanoning it, that we have permission to make good weapons. Well, we couldn't make the weapons that we use without steel, so maybe that's just where we're at. We've kind of already destroyed the evidence. We'd have to go get more ancient science books. We'd have to do a lot of stuff that would would be at least questionable. I really didn't want to do even the industry stuff that required ancient science. It was bad enough we were researching how to craft the good weapons, but it's just such a hassle to have him working in town. It takes so much money, it takes so much time. It's better to make it yourself by far, just because it doesn't cost money. We do have a crafter that is specifically there to make money, so maybe we could get away with that. Maybe that's how we do it. We almost need somewhere for Benny to go that isn't Stack or Blister Hill, that has the supplies they need. The problem is there really isn't anywhere like that. We're at straight up war with the United Cities. Flats Lagoon isn't gonna do it. Basically, we destroyed every major faction, or we're at war with every major faction that isn't us. Mongrel. We could craft in Mongrel. We could have our money making crafter be in Mongrel. That's the solution. Okay, we have a plan now. We have a real plan. We're going to have our money making crafter in Mongrel. That will keep the money rolling while we're crafting, and we won't have to do this juggling act of bouncing back and forth. We can keep making good armor and get this stuff done. I love that plan. Okay. So now that I know what I'm going to do, we're going to wrap it up here. You guys might come back to some movie magic, just because setting up crafting is boring. It's boring as tears. There's nothing fun about it. The fun part's me going around clobbering people to change them over to the way of the light. We take these church inquisitors and give people a good beating. I really want to add Mama Splitter to this group just because he's gigantic and it would be funny. But this is our character that's supposed to be me. He started out super fat, but now he's just like Steenerism. He's just done too many steroids or something. He's still big and bulky, but he has abs. Maybe he just eats liver, you know? Maybe that's what it is. He's the liver king. But we'll wrap it up there. I have a plan now to make some money and keep the crafting going. I know you see the 600,000 cats and think, oh, that's plenty of money. Not when you're buying crafting materials in bulk. It's not even close. I'll blow through that in 2 days. So, and the way you make it back is by selling stuff. But we need the armor now. Now we want the output. Typically, you would do that at your own base, but we would have to set up enough mining operation that it would disrupt our strength training because there'd be iron all over the place. And we can't make steel. So that's the plan. We're going to make a boatload of money crafting in Mongrel. We're going to make our armor and weapons where we were, Stack and Blister Hill. And we'll just keep rolling, keep crafting, keep recruiting. and go from there. But I will pick that up in the morning. Like I said, you guys will come back to some movie magic, and we will go on a recruiting spree because technically, well, no, we can't really support even more strength training, and they're going to take a little bit longer this time. It just is. So he was at 17, he's already at 21. If they were carrying a body over their shoulders, it would be faster. So we'll see if their rate is acceptable while I'm setting up the crafting. If it's too slow, I'll figure something out. But that's going to wrap it up for today. I will be on in the morning. Thank you for watching.